Hi there, good evening, and you're very welcome to our CAO information evening and our webinar on the Bachelor of Arts part-time flexible learning degree. My name is Judith Caffrey. I work with the admissions office, and I'm joined this evening by my colleague Dr. Nuala Whelan, who is from the Department of Adult and Community Education, and with a current student as well, June Murphy. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Whelan, who will give you an overview of the degree. And if you have any questions, we invite them into the chat. So please fire away and we'll come to them. Thanks a lot.
Brilliant. Thanks, Judith. Hi everyone. Um, Delighted to be here this evening to talk about the new BA part-time flexible learning. Um, I'm Nuala Whelan, as Judith said, and I'm one of the academic members of staff in the Department of Adult and Community Education. I'm the current program coordinator for this course. And I'm joined by June, who is one of our current students on a similar program. Um, so June is going to tell you a bit about her experience of being a mature student on a program like this, which is part-time and in the evenings. But before we come to June, I'm going to tell you a bit about the program itself, about the structure, the kind of finer details of the program. And as Judith said, if you've any questions at all, please put them in the chat. We'd be delighted to answer those questions at the end. Um, and so, as you're listening to both myself and June talking about, first of all, our experience of running the program and June's experience of being a student on a similar program, it might trigger some thoughts and ideas for you. So feel free to write anything into the chat, particularly queries, but also if you've any comments as well. So I'm just going to share my slides and hopefully this all works well. Okay.
That's
So
good.
hopefully, yeah, you can see
Yep,
that.
all good, Nuala. Yep.
Brilliant. That's great. Um, so as you can see, this program is a new program, and I suppose the overarching name for the program is the BA Part-Time Flexible Learning, but it consists of three part-time degrees aimed at mature students who are over 21. So because this program is part-time, the age eligibility is 21. So you just need to be 21 by the 1st of January this year in order to apply for the program. But I'll tell you a bit more about that in a few minutes. But I suppose just to say a little bit about the program, um, in the Department of Adult and Community Education, I suppose one of the things that we really focus on is enabling flexible educational opportunities. So we really want to encourage all of our students, our adult students, who are either returning to education, taking up education for the first time. Some are students who are going on to do professional programs in teaching or in adult guidance counselling. But I suppose the starting point in our department is for students who would like to return to education. So really providing that kind of a setting is very important for us. So a space for learning and personal growth and development. And we try to kind of create a space that meets the needs of the students best. So whilst you might have an image in your mind of university education as being sitting in a big lecture theatre, we tend not to teach in that way. So much of the teaching that we do is in smaller groups. It's more discussion based. We like to throw out some ideas and teach some theories and so on, and then get the students to discuss it and to think about this kind of information and these, some of the reading materials within the context of your own lives. So all adults are coming to education with all of this life experience and your own ideas and ideas about the world, your own experiences of what the world has been like for you, your own thoughts and so on. So really, really important that you get the opportunity to think about these ideas within the context of your own life. And we really do see these types of programs as life-changing for many students. who maybe thought, I'm not sure it's for me. I don't know if I want to take this step. And they get on board and they have a really great experience. So June hopefully will tell you a bit about her that later on, and hopefully I'm speaking your language, June. But I know from working with adults, adults love to discuss lots of different things. Uh, so much of the work that we do and much of the time on the program is in groups discussing or coming up with working on projects and so on together. Um, so just a little bit then about the structure of this new BA. Um, so as I said, there are three different programs or three BA strands within this BA degree. So there's a common year one. So when you come on this program, all of the students, no matter what strand you choose to do, um, complete the year, the first year together. And the three strands then are a BA in Local History, Cultural Heritage and Environment, a BA in Equality and Community Studies, and a BA in Adult Community and Further Education. Um, so students are encouraged at the point of registration to make their decision. So most students will know I'm either coming because I want to study history, or I'm coming because I want to study community studies, or I'm coming because I want to learn to become a teacher in adult and further education. And we can discuss that with you at the interview stage if you're interested. So those three strands complete year one together and then break into the strands. So you'd be with a group of students right through the degree then, whether it's local history, equality and community studies, or the adult and community education. And then after that, there are opportunities for further education if you choose to go on and maybe do some professional qualifications after this, or obviously into employment as well. So three programs, one foundation. So I thought that the first year is really important for us that we get it right. And I suppose the first year is all about laying the foundations for your academic journey into the future. So really ensuring that by the end of year one, all students feel really confident and competent in their ability to progress on the degree. Um, and so all of the modules that we offer in year one are compulsory. Um, so there are no optional modules. You don't have to choose from a long list of modules. This is the curriculum for year one. So we offer study skills and student support, which is a year-long module. It'll run right through from September to May. And we actually are going to offer this every year right through the degree, because we really feel that it's a good place for students to be able to, you know, talk about some of the fears and the concerns that they may have around being a student, around their study skills. And we want to be able to create a group, within the program, a group of students who can support each other, who can ask for help, who tell us what they need, and we'll provide that throughout the year. We then have an introduction to programs, which is a year-long program, and this is more of a deep dive into the strand that you've chosen to do. So really kind of trying to lay the foundations, whether it's in history, community studies, or adult and community education. We also have a module on ICT for research learning. So we kind of recognize that people come to the degree program with varying levels of IT skills. So to be able to use the PC, the different systems within the university, to be able to write your essays, access all of the supports. And that's a really great module to kind of bring you up to speed to a level of IT that you need to keep going in your degree. Critical thinking is a module which helps you to start thinking more critically about the world, thinking more critically about um, the the readings that we give you, thinking more critically about what's going on for you maybe and how you're interpreting the information that we're presenting in the course. So really trying to help you to be more critical, to ask more questions. And then theorizing society is a, I suppose, a dip into sociology. So trying to understand kind of some of the kind of key theories about how society is shaped, what has shaped the society that we now live in. And then the last module, Education for Sustainable Development and Global Justice, looks at some of the key challenges that societies face in the 21st century. So challenges like poverty, migration, race and ethnicity, climate change, digitalization, all these big challenges that are facing all of us in this world that we live in right now, and trying to think through some of those issues and also to think about how they affect our own lives. Or maybe if for many people coming on this program, they're in work, they're maybe working in community-based organizations, um, a whole range of different settings, and they maybe see these challenges affecting the clients or the customers that are coming into their services too. So really trying to get a good grounding across the board for start, I suppose laying the foundations for the rest of your degree. So that's the first year. And then after that, you each go into your chosen strand. And as I said, study skills and student support will run right through years 2, 3, and 4. And there will also be a variety of modules available to you for you to choose from. So whilst we have identified some of the modules that you will be doing, and I'll tell you a bit about those, depending on the strand, there's also the option to choose from some of the other modules that are happening across the university. And these may be modules that daytime students are taking. So perhaps you've seen an interesting module in law or in psychology or sociology, and you think, actually, I'd love to do that module. And if it makes sense in the context of your degree and where you think you'd like to go after your degree, we can advise you on selecting that module too. So the modules that we have put in place in the curriculum, some of them are, a little description of them are here. So for the local history strand, many of the modules look at how people interacted with their environment in the past and how this has impacted on culture and identity. So how it's impacted on the way we live today. So looking back to see what has happened in society and how has that kind of, followed through and impacted on the world we live in right now. So looking at history, folklore, archaeology, geography, environment, society, landscape, politics, many more things, but a really interesting kind of look back to see where we are now. So many of the modules in the local history strand would have that kind of a slant. The equality and community studies, then the focus is really on community work, addiction and recovery, social justice, equality and diversity, youth studies, adult education, training and development, politics, society and culture. So again, very much focused maybe if you're interested in how communities operate, in working in the community, or maybe you're already working in the community, many of these modules will be of interest. And then the last strand, the adult and community and further education strand, focuses in on how adults learn, how education, the access to education and how education is delivered across the lifespan, designing and delivering adult education programs, and learning contexts and settings. So community education, further education, where are the spaces that adults learn and what do they look like? Now, this route is currently going through Teaching Council accreditation at the moment. So students that choose this route will generally want to go on to become teachers in further education. And the way we've set up the degree at the moment is that the students in the local history strand will go on their strand for years 2, 3, and 4, 4.5, after the common year 1. And then students that choose the equality and community studies or the adult and community education strand, those students will work together. They'll have many of the same modules from year 2 onwards. And it's at the end of that degree, so at the end of year 4.5, that students in the BA Adult Community and Further Education strand will continue on for approximately another year, because much of the Teaching Council accreditation focuses on placement in colleges of further education. I'll say a bit more about that in a minute, but just to show you that the students in both of those strands will be doing the same modules for the rest of their degree. So let's see just about program structure. So it's a level 8 program. As I said, it's for mature students aged 21 years or older on the 1st of January this year, if you're applying to start the course in September 2026. Application is through the CAO. So when you go onto the CAO system, you apply through the mature application route. So if you have a Leaving Cert, if you have QQI, I just want you to tick the mature student category, okay, because that is the route that you'll come into this program through. The local history and the equality and community studies degrees are 4.5 years. So each year you'll take 40 credits, and in the final year you take a 20 credit structure. The BA in Adult Community and Further Education is a 6-year model. So 4.5 years, similar to the Community and Equality Studies program, and then a further year or so to complete the placement, and a more focused approach to adult and community education. So really focusing in on becoming a teacher in the last year and a half. The program is SUSI eligible, so it's SUSI eligible for a part-time program. So this is one of the first part-time programs that where students can access SUSI supports in Maynooth University. So you may be eligible for fees or for maintenance. So I would encourage you to go online to the SUSI website and have a look and see what you are eligible for. So we're really delighted with that, because we really feel it'll open up access to students who may not have had access before due to the financial constraints of having to pay the full fees. So please do have a look at that. There are 50 places on the program overall. The program will run Tuesday and Wednesday evenings in person, 6 to 9:15, approximately those hours on both of those evenings. And you can complete the degree fully on a Tuesday and Wednesday evening if you wish. But just to say that from year 2 onwards, there are some online options, some daytime options, and some Saturday options. But we'll discuss those with you as we go through the degree. But just to say, you can complete the degree fully in just 2 evenings a week. Some other important information then, all applicants will be interviewed. So this is in line with Maynooth University's policies on mature student access. So when you come for interview, we want to hear about why you want to do the degree, how you see it, maybe enabling you to access either further education or a career, or what is it that about this degree that is attracting you, and also a bit about who you are, what you've been doing up to this. So we're very interested in you as a person, and we'd really like to hear more about that. There's parking on campus in the evenings, free parking on campus in the evenings, limited parking during the day. So just to say that to you, anyone who's been on campus during the day knows this. Most modules don't have exams, they're continuous assessments. So we will be giving an assessment during a module, or maybe at the end of a module. Sometimes they're essays, sometimes they're projects, sometimes they're portfolios, sometimes it's a group presentation. So lots of different assessment methods, but they're all continuous assessments. So you will not be sitting in a big hall taking an exam with lots of students. We try very much to fit it, to, I suppose, enable people to both live their lives as adults with all of the other responsibilities that you have going on, and do the assessments and assignments in a way that, suits you too. And as I said, the style of teaching is very much discussion-based and interactive. So We're looking for lots of examples and connections that you're making with the materials that are presented in class. Um, just to say a little bit finally then about if you do choose the BA in Adult and Community Education strand, um, as I said, this program is currently going through Teaching Council recognition. It allows you to teach in adult and further education, but not in schools. So if you're thinking about primary school teaching or second level teaching, our colleagues in the Department of Education will be able to help you out with that. So our program is specifically for further education, so teaching in adult education settings. So that could be in communities, in PLC colleges, in ETBs, in NGOs, sometimes for private training providers as well. The timetable, as I said, will change after year 4.5, where you must be available after that to be on campus at least one day per week. But again, we will be discussing this with you. And also, there is a requirement to do a placement, a teaching placement in a registered further education provider. Again, we will be discussing this with you. And all applicants for this strand must complete Garda vetting before commencing the course. So we will be discussing that with you also at interview if this is the route that you choose to go. So that is it really. I just have a few dates here just around the CAO. Whoops, let's go back to that slide about the CAO deadlines. So mature entry deadline is the same as everyone else, the 1st of February. If you can get your CAO application in by the 20th of January, you get the reduced fee, €35. And late applications open on the 5th of March and close on the 1st of May. So CAO then send us the names and we will be calling you then for interview. Interviews will mostly be in person. There may be some opportunities for online interviews too, but we'll discuss that with you in more detail if you do make your application. And just my name is at the bottom of the screen there, Nuala Whelan at mu.ie, or my colleague, Professor Camilla Fitzsimons, and Camilla's email is there as well. So please do contact us if you have any questions or queries, or want to have an informal discussion about coming onto the program or making an application. So I will leave it there and I'll stop sharing, and I might hand over then to June, who is going to talk about her own experience of being a mature student at Maynooth University.
Thanks,
Okay.
Nuala.
All right.
Hi, everybody. So, I suppose there's a few things to say, really, is that in relation to doing the degree, the fact that you've come online and it's obviously something you were thinking about. So you've taken the biggest step, really. It was 30 years since I was in school even, and I didn't have a leaving cert. So I went to the open day, the first open day that they had after COVID. So it was in 2021. It was something I'd always thought about, but I wasn't sure whether, I suppose I had the idea that college wasn't for me. I didn't do well in school, but I still didn't give up on it, even though I kind of thought, oh, university is for other people, not me. But actually, in going, I was listening there to Nuala, and she was talking about the study skills and the IT research. I found them brilliant because they built your confidence up in relation to being able to um, write an essay, how to turn on a laptop. All those things are small, but they're enough to make you give up if you don't know. So the idea that, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to write an essay, I would say don't think like that. Um, Go to the study skills and you learn so much. Even in the study skills, I looked at my shoes for the first 6 weeks and all the lecturers saw was the top of my head. So it's like, don't ask me, don't ask me, but I think after a while, just by talking in groups and people have the same fears, the same expectations, the same worries, and you're kind of going, actually, I can do this. it's something you can learn, and it's something that maybe you didn't get an opportunity to do when you were younger, but anything can be learned. And if we put the time and the effort into it and the lecturers show you how to do it, I couldn't believe that when they asked us to do an essay. We were there about 3 months, and it was a 500-word essay. And when I tell you, I shook from head to toe in relation to doing it. But the joy that I had of being able to write an essay, it was just brilliant. It was like a little mountain to get over, but it was an experience that I was able to tell myself, from going to I shouldn't be here, I can't do this, to being able to put an essay together and go, oh my God, I do belong here. So I think once we get over the fear of accepting that I belong in Maynooth University, I've made the decision to be here, everything else can be learnt. When I went to the talk, they were talking about sociology, anthropology, and I didn't actually know what they were, and probably couldn't spell them either. So all those fears, all the negative thoughts that I had, they're all just your head telling you no, no, no. But actually, I'm saying to you, yes, yes, yes. I love it. It's not that I would have thought. Sometimes I did feel overwhelmed, but one or two lecturers, when they were talking to me, when they were talking to the group, what I found about Maynooth was that what they said was, from day one, if you feel overwhelmed, don't just not turn up. Let us know. We're here to help. I'd never heard that in education before, because I always felt stupid. I should know. I don't understand how I'm not understanding it. But actually, that's not true. It's just that we weren't given the opportunity, or I wasn't given the opportunity. So by saying to me, yes, you probably will find it difficult. Yes, you do have to carve out some time to do it, but don't run, stay, let us help you, let us get your cap and gown, let us help you move forward. It's just brilliant. That's all I can say about it. And had I had shaky moments, I've had a lot of them. But again, I've had a lot of support in relation to the lecturers, by going to them and saying, I'm struggling, I don't understand what you meant. I'm getting they give you feedback in relation to your essays and stuff, and your referencing. They're all small things that will trip you up, that become big things for you. But actually, they're everything you can overcome if you ask. And that's the thing I'm going to say, if you ask. The group work, we did group work. You learn so much from other people. You become friends with people. You were I felt like a full-time student who was going to college part-time. I'd rock up on a Tuesday and Wednesday, full of the joys of spring. Not all the time, but some of the time. But when you met your friends and you went for a coffee and you're going, oh my God, is anyone else struggling? I would never have said that before, because I felt I should know. But everyone is in the same boat, and everyone else has made the same decision. Everyone else is working full time. So everyone really is feeling the same. I wasn't that special after all. I just felt it was just me. But it's not, it's everybody, and everybody wants to pass the modules, and people give you ideas. And so I would say, well done everybody for even thinking about it, because it took me a long time to come in. And as I said, it's not that I wouldn't have found it difficult to stay, but the idea that the lecturers are there to help, they really do mean it. Like, don't run, stay, get your cap and gown, lads. you know so that's all I kind of have to say to it. You do have to, it's not just the Tuesday and Wednesday. I work full time. So the Tuesday and Wednesday, what I found as well was, when you go in, you go, can I work full time and can I go to college? Yes, you can. Because one of the things I noted from 4 years ago is that we were given uh, a blank timetable. And what they said was, from the moment you get up to the moment you go to bed, tell us what you do. And what I learned was, I watched too much telly. So what I said was, oh my God, I have loads. And I had a young child at the time as well, teenager. So I did have loads of time. I was just, again, putting the negative in front of it. Oh my God, I can't work full time. I can't be a mother. I can't run a house. I could. You just need to plan, and you need to stick with your plan and change it if it needs changing. But everything is doable. Did my partner have to pick up a bit of the slack? Yes. But then during the summer, I picked up the slack. So it's a give and take on every way. You know, I think what we do is we talk ourselves out of things. But for something like this, we should talk ourselves into it, because we've waited this long. So if you've come on to the Zoom and you've been thinking about it, I thought about it for a long time. And when I got there, it was like, I'm supposed to be here. I did have the wobbles, but actually going to the open day was my hardest thing. Once I got there, it was like, this is for me. But it was dipping my toe in it originally that kept me away because I ran. I did start before in another college. I got overwhelmed. I didn't ask the questions. I went, I'm stupid. This is not for me. And I ran. I didn't experience that in Maynooth.
Great, June. Thanks for that. Brilliant. So, Judith, I don't know if there's any questions or anything coming through there.
Yeah, we have a question. After year one, is there a clear pathway into a psychology degree? And do you add this course to your level 8 choices on the CAO application form? If so, where do I get the course code?
So, no is my answer into the clear pathway into a psychology degree. However, um, you could certainly take some psychology modules as daytime electives if they're available. But this program is not a pathway into other programs in the university. Um, the common year, leads into those three strands, and they're the three options that are available on a part-time basis for adults. However, we'd be happy to chat to you about options. There is a certificate in psychology that we run in the department as well in the evening time. And many students that go on into the full-time undergraduate psychology program take that certificate course first. We also have a return to learning program, which is 1 day a week, I think. And that program really is is an access into all of the other programs. Uh, Many programs have a route in as an access student, but it does allow you eligibility into our broader arts program, our daytime arts program, MH101. But you would apply for the return to learning first. And I think if you look up the department's website, because the return to learning isn't through CAO, you can just apply directly, as far as I know, into the department. So that's my answer. That sounds very confused, but I'm going to say that this program doesn't enable access into a pure psychology degree in the university, but there are other pathways in, is what I'm saying, and they would be worth considering and applying then into for the psychology degree program after that. This program is MH 804 on CAO. So you just tick the mature student box, and then if this is the only program you're applying for, you just fill in MH 804 on your CAO form.
That's it. So that's on cao.ie, and the early application, which is a reduced fee, is the 20th of January. So anyone who is considering applying, definitely advised to avail of that reduced fee. I think it's €35 as opposed to 50. So it just save a few euro. And also to say, June mentioned the open days, which are huge events in the university. And we had some in November, and we will have another two, one in April on the 25th of April and one in June on the 27th of June. So they're both Saturdays. And so certainly warmly welcomed to the campus to meet us all in person on either or both of those dates. I think that's it for the questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to raise before we wrap up?
Just if there's any queries, as I said, to contact me, nuala.whelan@mu.ie, and I'd be happy to answer any queries that you might have. And to say
And the
thank you to
admissions
June.
office. Sorry, yes, Neil, yes, and thank you to June. And the admissions office is ugadmissions@mu.ie if you have any emails you'd like to send in to us there. Okay, thanks very much to you both for your time this evening. Thank you to all our participants for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks,
Bye
June.
now.
you.
Thanks, June.
Bye.
Thank you.